Yes. Before understanding today's agenda, so let's try to recollect it, what we had it yesterday, and then we'll continue with today's agenda. Yeah, yesterday we started understanding about the tuple. Yes, tuple is also kind of the list, but the main difference is, what is the main difference between the tuple and the list?
List is a mutable, sir.
Yes,
Tuple is an immutable.
yes. List is mutable and tuple is immutable. Yeah. So both, so the CRUD operations point of view, CRUD operations point of view, yes, you can create a tuple and a list. But once the tuple has been created, we cannot do that update operations or delete operations. The only we can do read operations. But whenever it comes to that, the list, yes, we can perform that all the CRUD operations. That is with the append options or assignment option. Yes, assignment option we can do in like this, not this one. Yeah, assignment. Yes, like this we can do in the list, but we cannot do in the tuple. And append is available only in the list, but that is not available in tuple. And we cannot do that deleting element, or we don't have any pop operation in the tuple. Yeah, so these are all operations, the CRUD operations wise we are understanding. And then we were understanding, then within the tuple, yes, we can have it like a different types of the data types. Yeah, like a integer you can have it, float we can have it, list also we can have it, string we can have it. But how do we get that all the elements is by using the index number. Yeah, so index number, that particular element, it is going to return that. If that element is integers of the float, you can directly use it. But if it is returned element is a list, then you can apply that index number on that list, right? Yeah, this is the way we can retrieve that, the elements. And yes, within the tuple, if you have the list, yes, that list elements we can update it, or we can perform the CRUD operations on the list. But scenario also, when do we use it, the list, when do we use it, the tuple? Yes, why do we need to go for that within the tuple about the list? Yes, we are understanding some example on this as well as. Yeah, this was the overall topic yesterday, which we had it. Now let's move into that one more data type, that is about dictionaries. Yeah, this is also going to play a very important role in the data model with the CRUD operations. So let's look into that. That is dictionary. But before talking that, yes, anyone having any queries, questions, please let me know. So let me restart this one. Yes, anyone having any queries, questions? So all are good. Are you doing the practice? Yeah, so let's talk about the dictionary. So this is another data type. So do you see the screen? Okay. Okay, good. Thank you. Yeah, so one more data type which we are going to talk about that is dictionary. This is another collection data type. Yes, a list, tuple, and a dictionary. These are all collection data types. And the remaining, yes, integer, float, string. These are all like basic data types, where we can assign only one value to the variable. But these that like a collection data types, we can assign that multiple items. Yeah, so let's talk it about that. The CRUD operations. Yes, we can perform that CRUD operations on the list. That is, we can create the dictionary, we can do that reading the elements from the dictionary, and we can update that, the elements in that, the dictionary, and as well as we can delete element within the dictionary. But how do you do that? So already we were doing that with the list, all these, the CRUD operations. And this is the mutable or immutable? So dictionary is the mutable, which we can perform that all the CRUD operations. But already we were talking about the list, but why do we need to go for this dictionary? Yeah, so this like the main, I mean, if you just observe that the list, string, and the tuple, we were using about that index-based items. So it is going to use it index-based the items representation, right? Yeah, 0 with the index number. From that onwards, it is going to start it, and n minus 1 as that it is going to assign internally as a ordered. So that is kind of, we can say that 0, then 1, 2. Like this, it is going to store that items in the either string characters, if you observe that, or list if you talk it, or tuple if you talk it. They're all like index-based items. But a dictionary is that is key-based items. So you can define the key for about your items which are storing, and that key you can use it to read the elements from the dictionary. So that is the main difference. List is index-based and dictionary is key-based. But how do we define this, the dictionary? So let me just define that's one variable like date. Yes. And how do we define this is with the curly braces. So we're understanding so far square brackets, parentheses, and now third collection, how do we define this is square brackets. So if I try to print this one, so this is now, it is just defined, but it is not declared any elements within the dictionary. So if I try to print this, and if I try to run this program, so this is the empty dictionary now. So empty dictionary. But how do we add that elements? Yeah, that is insert operation or create operation. How do you do that? So how do we define this? That's like a dictionary, the values is, you need to use it. I mean, just observe that the functions. So we have that like, I mean, multiple functions, but yesterday tuple only 2 functions we are observing that. Count and the index. Yes, you can get that index value of that item, and as well as you can count the items. And the list was having that, yes, like a pop function. Yes, already we are observing that the pop. What is the purpose of the pop function? So what is the purpose of the pop? Do you remember that in the list?
To remove the items.
Yes, to remove the item. So like this here also it is available, the pop, and you can get the particular, the item, and you can copy it, you can get the keys, you can get the items. Yes, there are some functions which are available. You can update it. Yes, you see that update function also. But how do we assign this, that's a value to the dictionaries? So this is the same way like how we were using about that. So how to use it like in a normal representation is we use that index number, but in the dictionary we use the key. Suppose we have the key one, and how do I assign this? The value is, yes, you can assign that the value. So now, so if you just observe the list and the dictionary, so here in the dictionary we are using about that key based. So I'm going to store that the element, this value one, some that like you can assign that integer, or you can assign that like a string or the float, whatever it is value. But here if you observe that key based, we are going to store the value. So now if I try to print this dictionary, so let's run this program. Now you see this first it is empty list, but now you observe that it is stored the key and value representation. So normally I can define that. How do we define this values directly also? Let me just show that. So this is assignment. Assignment we are able to do is nothing but we are able to perform the, this is the mutable object. This is assignment we are talking about. In the list we use that index based assignment, but in the dictionary key based assignment. Key and a value. Or if you'd like to define within the dictionary itself, how to define it is, yes, you can use it, the key, the K1, colon. So we are going to assign to this key the value. So that is a value one. And the second item, if you'd like to add it, is the comma, and then key two. And between the key and the value, so important is colon, you need to use it. So normally in the list, we are directly defining that values or items. But here key based, the storing that the values. So value 2. So like this, we can define that. So that is a key and value representation. So in the dictionary. So let's run this and let's see this what's going to happen that now. Now you see this has been the stored the elements, and here the same key I'm using that I'm going to reassign that the value. Yeah, that is already defined, and you can use the same one, no issues on it. Are you clear about that? How do we declare or define that the dictionary with the key and value representation? And we can assign that. Suppose I would like to define this one more, P3, and with the value 3. Can I assign this? Yes. Now you see this, the first K1, K2, and now thus we have assigned that one more item. Yes, this is one more item we have stored in the dictionary, that is a K3 with the value 3. Now, how do I get it? Are you clear about that? The creating the element within the dictionary or assigning this value to the dictionary. So the main difference is instead of using that index based, here we need to use the key based. Yes, that is, you can use it like the list option, tuple option. Yes, you can use it another data type and you can store it to the value. We'll come back. But first, did you understand that declaration of the dictionary or not? So this is about creating the key and value representation. Is it clear about this? So how do we store that the values, that is items within the dictionary? Normally, how the dictionary will represent it. The key, that word based, we go for that identifying this the meanings, right? The word is the key. So whenever you are looking this word, then you will get that's word related, the meaning in the dictionary. The same thing here also. In the list and tuple or string, it is going to work like index-based storing that or retrieving that items on the base of the mutable or immutable. But here, how it is going to work, it is a key-based value representation. Suppose now I need to get that value to. How do I get it that value to? Can you give me that answer? Can you give me that answer? How do you get that value to? Now read operation. No, that is wrong. How do you get it that value to? So I need to get this value to. How do you get it this? Yeah, yes, correct. So this is about, so you need to use it, the key, whatever which is have in that. So the key for that value to is K2. Yes, you need to use the K2. Then we are going to get it, the value to. So if I comment these lines, yeah, now that's the K2. So the key to this is that the value. So here we don't use the index numbers. Suppose if I try to use that something 2, actually in the index number representation, that is, this is 1, right? If I try to use the 1, it returns that the key error. That means the key is not available with this 1. But can I store that with 1? Yeah, instead of that's the key 2, then I can use the key as a 1. Then if I try to retrieve it, yes, I got this value 2. Because now, if I try to print this dictionary, so how it is stored? K1 is value 1, 1 is value 2, K3 is value 3. Are you getting the points about it? Yes, you can use it. Key, either string you can use it or integer you can use it that. But can I use it the list? Suppose can I use it that's list like this as a key? It returns error. It doesn't accept it. Either you can use it the string as a data type whenever you are defining the keys, or you can use it the list. I mean, that is the integer, but you cannot use it the list. But values point of view, can I use it the list? Yes, we can use it. Suppose here I'm going to store it like, you can use it either string like, yeah, let me define that A, comma, B, comma, C. Is it valid one or not? Is it valid one or is it going to throw error? Yeah, that is a valid one. You see this now? So this is the first element, which is having the key is the K1 and value 1. Second element, which is having the key is 1 and the value is as a sublist, list which contains about it. And that list contains 3 elements. And third element in the dictionary, that is a K3. And what is the value of that one is value 3. Suppose if I would like to get it, that's value 3. Then how do we get it this? Can you give me this now answer? Are you following this now? So there is no index like 0, 1, 2, 3. No, there is no concept. How the dictionary is going to store that is you need to define the key and as well as the value for it. So whenever you are defining the dictionary, the key and the value. But if you are going to use it to list, directly you can define that or you can store that elements. But in the dictionary, one element you are storing is nothing but that element key. You need to define it. How do you want to add? How do you want to store it? That is a key and the value of that. But value, it should be any data type, or you can use the tuple, or you can use the list, or you can use the string, or you can use it integer, or you can use the float also. But key should be either integer, you can use it, or the string you can use it, but you cannot use it that list or a tuple as a key based. Have understood these statements? Understanding the difference between the list and the dictionary. List is index based, dictionary is key based. Type that in the chart window if you're good with this. Everyone now defining the dictionary. And as well as reading the elements from the dictionary. Okay, so good. So let's move to this, the next, like some examples on this. Suppose, I mean, this is a generic, and let me talk with that, some more operations. So create, read operation. Read how you're going to use it. The key you need to pass it. Suppose if you'd like to read that value 3, then you need to use it K3. So this is a read operation key based, not index based. And yeah, the next operation, so that is update. Yes, you can update that. Suppose value 3 here it is stored, but I would like to update that key value to that something. This is some data. I'm going to define that some data. So is it going to update that? Is it going to accepting that? What we are trying to do that existing key, we are trying to update it to that existing key. So is it going to supporting update operation? Yes, now you see that K3 is stored with some data. It has been overridden. You can override it or you can update that. Yeah, you have this directly in the dictionary itself update function that is also available. So dictionary dot update. Yes, this is the function. You can use this function also to update that the key and value. So suppose K3, I would like to update that with the value some let's try to use this. Instead of using this function, you can directly use it that some data like this. But already some data is available. Let me use it new data. So it is expecting about it dictionary update K3. So new data. What is this? What is the dictionary update sequence element? 0. Okay. So update is not taking that. Let me use this. Suppose K3. Actually, what is this function? Let me just check it. Yeah, normally this is the recommended option instead of that update, but update what it is doing, self with the keyargs. Keyargs are not supporting. Okay, so you can just, don't use this, but directly go for that using this, the key-based updating that. Where I don't see that, maybe it is not accepting that as this version point of view, but we need to check it. But yes, this way we can update it directly, the dictionary, no issues on it. Yes, you can read it, you can update it, and you can use the pop operation, but update is not supporting. Okay, I'll talk it as update. I mean, maybe I need to check it that's why it is not supporting update. Let's check it that dictionary example. Let me use it. So normally you can use it like a direct approach, the assignment, but Python function, which is update, yes, it is going to take it this last element. Yes, if you observe that, the update of that's okay, internal mocks. So mocks dot update, internal mocks. Yes, it is updating with a new element. But you don't have this the particular position, particular key to update it. So it is going to update that last element. You see that here, the first physics and maths, it has been updated. And whenever you update that the dictionary here, then it is going to take it, the last element. Only last element it is supporting that, not key based. But instead of using that, directly use it that, the dictionary point of view. Are you clear on this update function? So it is going to update that, the last element. Suppose if I use it, dictionary dot update, something like new data, it is not taking the key. So now which value it is going to update, that is? What is this? Dictionary new data. Actually, we need to pass it key based. Even it is not taking this new one also. Okay, you need to pass it thus. That's a dictionary itself is another input. So don't worry about this function. So use it directly. This is directly straightforward, which is going to take it. But in the list which we have that append function. So to update that, the last one. And here you can assign directly that with the key and value based. So this update, maybe if you have this another list to update it, which has been given that internal function. So don't worry about this update function. Are you clear on this updating? Directly use that assignment with the key. So you don't need the functions to use it separately. Yeah, this is assignment. Assignment is directly like you can take it like, I mean, that is last in the list append whatever we have that. This is the assignment. You can define the key and with value. And in the list we have that append by default, which is going to do the last element. But yes, here you can use it to directly reassignment. And if you'd like to update it, yes, use it the key and the value. Directly you can use it. You don't need that using that, the function. So the update function is there. But if you have this like other dictionary, which you can add it that as a, suppose if I define this other dictionary, let's talk it. dictionary 2 is equal to something key 5. Let me define with value, that's new data. Let me pass it as the new dictionary here. Now, is it going to accept it? Yes. So you can pass it for that update another dictionary. So that is taking that. But this function in the CRUD operation, that is update function. So don't use it that. So directly you can use it. That's the assignment based updating that the particular key. Are you clear about this point? Is it clear about that understanding update function, or like directly use it update? No need that using this function. So don't worry about this. You can directly assign about that key based value. Yeah, this is update. Then finally coming to that, this is a read. Let me go for. So what is this operation which are understanding? Update. Next coming to, so now it is added, yes, the key 5 with the new data. This is no more required. Let me comment this. That is a new dictionary, one more dictionary which you can use it. But we are talking this with the multiple, the single dictionary. Now let's perform that delete operation. Yeah, what about the delete operation? How do you delete it? So dictionary.pop is the function which is available. Yeah, the pop. So if I use it, the pop directly like this, so what's going to happen that? So is it going to accept it or not? So it doesn't accept it, but in the list, it is going to accepting that. If you just compare with that list and the dictionary. So in the list, if you apply the pop, is it going to work it or not? Yes, it is going to work it, and the last item will be deleted automatically. Last index number that will be deleted in the list. But in the pop, it is not deleting that by default. So we need to define that key for this. Yes, key is a mandatory. So if I go for this key, like I would like to delete that K3. Yes, you can pass that the K3, then that will be deleted. Now it is accepted, but let's try to print this dictionary after deleting item. Yeah, now here the K3 is available, but in the last, that's the K3 has been deleted. The key-based deleting. Yeah, for the key and values, it is the mandatory inverted commas. No, that is on the basis of the data type which are defining that the inverted commas are mandatory. So that is suppose if you are going to define this one as a key, that is a string, then string you need to use that inverted commas. Even that I am going to store the data also in the format of the string, then you need to use that the single quotation. You are talking the single quotation only, right? But if I would like to use this one as integer, you don't need to specify that. So this is a string point of view that is required. Yeah. So now try to understand the pop. Pop by default it is not going to accept like as a list, but here you need to use that at least argument passing that is about key. Which element that you want to delete it? So you can delete it like suppose I would like to delete this one. Can I delete it? Yeah, simply say that now you don't need that. The inverted commas, that is single quotation. Directly use it integer. Why? Because here we have defined that integer as a key. The which key do you want to use it? The same key you need to pass it that. Now, if you see this, like at the last, K1 is available and K3 is also available. But one key, that means, yes, the one key which is having the key that has been deleted. Now this is the final dictionary. So we have the K1 and K3. So K1 here we have defined and K3, so we have defined here. And we are assigning the some data also here. And this is the update. So pop is helping that to delete that operation. Are you clear about this pop? Are you understand the dictionaries? Key-based values. These are all not like indexed. So here you are defining that one element is nothing but it should be key and value. That is important. And if you observe that in that list, we are using the del command also, del. Can I use that del in the tuple? Del keyword. Del keyword, can I use it in the tuple or not? A pop is like just removing the data, deleting from the memory. Yes, it is deleted from the memory. So this is the new dictionary that is completely deleted. Whatever the key you are passing about it, that key will be deleted from the dictionary and it will be updated to the memory. Yeah, del keyword, we cannot use it in the tuple. Del keyword, are we using this in the list? Do you remember that? Del, how do we use it now? Suppose using the pop, I'm deleting this, the key base, that is keys having that one. Now I would like to delete that, the same element from the dictionary using the del keyword. Can I delete it? Or how do we define this? In the list, how we are defining? So list of that index number will pass it, right? Index number 1, 2, 3, 4, or whatever you have, that index number will pass it. This is the representation of deletion. Now, how do I delete that particular element from the dictionary? Suppose now I need to delete it. Let me show that. So this is my list, which is I have in that K1, value 1 and 1, which is I have in the list, and K3 is another key and some data. This is my final list. Now I need to delete this element from the dictionary. How do I delete this? With the pop option, we can delete it. This is one approach. So that's a dictionary dot pop, and you can pass the key. What is the key here? It is 1. 1 we are passing, and that has been deleted. Let me save this. Now, if you see this key has been deleted. Now, this is the final dictionary. But using the del keyword, I would like to delete the same key. How do I delete it? We were talking that these two types in a list. I'm just comparing the list and the dictionary. Otherwise, we can directly go ahead and dictionary all these operations, but we are trying to differentiate it list and the dictionary. So list is index based, here key based. That is one main difference. And how do you define that the dictionary is? You need to use the key colon and value to store one element. This is one element. This is another element. The mouse is not good. Okay. So this is one element and this is another element. So this is about defining the dictionary. Then we are trying to understand assigning. Yes, can we do that? Adding the new elements? Yes, we can do that. In the list, we were using that append function. Or we can use it like this assignment also. That is, suppose in the list, how do you do that? List of the particular index number, you can give it something. Yes, I'm just going to say that index and you can assign the value. So this is the list assignment. But in the dictionary, how do I add that element or how do I define that? Says. So here you need to use the dictionary with the key and we can assign that. So this key, if it is already available, it will be updated. In the dictionary, if the key is already available, it will be updated. If the key is not available, it is going to add that at the last. That's what we are observing here. So here, yeah, so after that, we are trying to print after assigning the K3. Yes, this is the key 3, which has been assigned as one more, at the last to the dictionary. Because this key is not available. So that's why it is assign that at the last element. But can I update that the existing key? Yes, we can do that. So this is the update operation. Directly you can use it. So that particular key and assigning this new value. Yes, this is after updating that this is the value. But how do we read that the dictionary? So dictionary reading that on the basis of the keys. So here we don't use the index numbers. Key, either you can use it the string or you can use it integer. So whatever you are comfortable, you can use it that on the basis of the requirement. We will talk it, some scenario we'll talk it, we'll come back. But first understand that the operations, CRUD operations, how do you perform on this dictionary. Next, I will talk it about that, some example. Then we can easily understand it. Yeah, this is the update operation. Directly you can use the key and with the updating. Then how do we delete it? Yes, you can use the pop function, which is already available, and you can pass the key for it. Yeah, key you can pass it and you can, which element do you want to delete it from the dictionary? That element key. Suppose here if I pass it, that's 1. So this element, this is entire one element, remember that. So how the elements have been separated with a comma. But colon is that within the dictionary is, that is with the key and a value. So this key is storing this value. This key is storing this value. But this is one element in the dictionary. This is another element in the dictionary. This is another element. What is the length of this dictionary now? Can you give me that? What is the length of this dictionary? That is about 3 elements. Don't think it, okay, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, there are only 3 elements. So in the list, if you see like this, then yes, with the comma separation, there is 6 elements. But it doesn't show that index number. Actually, list how it is going to store that internally. Yeah, if we just talk it the same, the list how it is going to store it is, let me just show this in the comment, how that is going to store internally. 0, colon, whatever the value you are passing, that is suppose 1, comma, then 1, colon, 2. Are you getting the point about it? So here it is going to store internally like, so this is index number and the value which has been assigned, the element which are defined. Suppose I have declared that list like this. The list is equal to, I have declared 1, 2, 3. Then how it is going to store it internally? This is the representation internally. That is also like as a key. But a key we don't need to specify explicitly. It is going to use it automatically. Index number, it is assigning that internally. But whenever we are using the dictionary, we are going to define the keys and the values. So one item you are storing that in the dictionary is nothing but you can use it the key and the value. So this is one item. This is another item. And this is another item. Total 3 items. But after deleting this, yeah, after the pop, like which you are deleting that, now this is the value. Now, how many items we have in this dictionary? Can you give me the answer now? Now, after deleting, how many elements this dictionary contains? Length of this dictionary. This is before deletion. Now, thus that dictionary length is 3. But after deleting this, now what is the length now? 2. Are you clear about that? How it is internally storing the dictionary? Type that CLR in the chat window if you understand the dictionary. Okay, so delete point of view, we can use that del keyword also. So whatever we are talking this in the list, if we just compare with the list, so here you can use it del keyword also, del. But how do you suppose I need to delete this from this list, this element? Yeah, this element I need to delete it. How do I delete it? Can you give me the answer for it? Now I need to delete this element from the dictionary. How do I delete this? I would like to see the answers. How we are using this in the list? If we just remember it, the same thing. Okay, good. Good. Yeah, simple. So delete keyword and then the variable name, that is a dictionary, is the variable name here. And from this dictionary, so which key we would like to delete it? 1. But 1 is integer or string? So in the element that is integer, just use it like as integer. But if it is a string, then you need to use it like as a string. So on the base of the key data type, that's you need to use it that. But here we are trying to remove this element. This element key is 1. Directly you can use it 1. Now if I try to apply this, yes, now it is having that 2 and you can try to print dictionary. Yeah, so now it is having this only 2. Suppose if I would like to delete that this element, then what I need to do? The mouse is not good, so it is. So this element I need to delete, that is a K3 element. Then how do I define this del keyword or pop keyword? Pop method. Can you give me the answer now? Yes, I see there's some answers. Good. Okay, now I'm going to use the del keyword itself. But can I define this like this? K3? No, right. So this is the unresolved reference K3. So it should be, you are using this alphabets is nothing but alphabets of the strings, right? You need to define with a single quotation. Yeah, that is a string. String should be enclosed with either single quotation or you can use it double quotation also. So now if I try to run it, but what it is saying that I just defined the K3, but what is the kind of exception it is returning that? Key error, that key is not available because the key you have defined that in the caps K. As we are understanding internally ASCII characters, small k different value and caps K different value, right? So so this the Python string characters are the case sensitive. So small k with the 3 is not available, but we have defined this the key with the capsulator. That is also important. Yes, K3 if we define it, it has been deleted. Now final dictionary is, so how many elements we have? Can you give me that now the length? Anyway, that is the printing that here too. But now give me that, what are the keys we have in this dictionary? Can you give me that keys? What do you understand from this dictionary? What are the keys are available? What all the keys are available in this dictionary? I would like to just test it about your understanding. Type that everyone. And give me the names of the keys. Yes, yes, good. So what do we have that? K1 is one key and 1 is another key. Now, what are the values we have in this dictionary? Can you give me that values? Just to give me the data types of these values, these dictionary values. Just to give me the data types. K1 contains which data type? This key contains which data type? That is string. And one key, yes, key value which is under one, key is one. What is the value that contains? What is the data type is that? That is list. Yeah. Suppose now I would like to get it. Yeah, this before starting about that. So are you clear about this deleting? Either you can use the pop operation or del keyword like that's in the list. List and the dictionary, the same operations you can use it, but in the dictionary append is not available. But how you can add that element? Yes, with the new key and you can assign this value, you can update it. You can assign these values or you can update that, the values. Update operation, adding that element operation, read that should be on the base of this, the keys. So yeah, and then we are understanding delete the element. These are all the 4 operations, CRUD operations. Yes, dictionary. Just compare with the list and the dictionary, then it is very easy. But here, deletion point of we have the pop and we have the del keyword. Yeah, pop is this is the dictionary specific function. That means this class related the specific function, but del is Python keyword. Python, suppose if I would like to, so what is going to happen that now? If I apply this on this dictionary, already we're talking to this one in the list. So what is going to happen this now? Can you understand? Can you expect this value of this? What is the value it is going to return that? So total keys values will be deleted. Okay, all data will be deleted. And yes, you are saying that's empty. I'm expecting some more answers. So if you go back to this list, and the list, if you just observe that, we were applying that. So what's going to happen that here? And why we are using this one here? Yeah, actually we are going to get it. So after deleting this dictionary, and if you try to use the dictionary keyword, it throws error, right? Because object of the type has no length. Yes, obviously no length. Okay, let me comment this and let's try to run it. Yeah, now if you see this, the deleting the dictionary, yes, it is saying that the class has a dictionary, but it is not having any elements in that. So that's making that complete as empty. I mean, it is not empty also, it is just completely removing this object from the memory. But if you would like to clean up that, I mean, particular element, okay, we were doing that, but I need to clean up all the keys and the values, what I can do that. It is not showing that empty. Here you see that it is saying this dictionary, some data type as this value. But I would like to clear that all the keys and the values. How do you do that? Suppose if I try to print now, yes, we are getting this all the values, but I need to clear that all the keys and the values of this dictionary. I need to make it empty. How do you do that? So in the list, how we are doing that emptying this? We were using the slicing concepts, if you remember that. I'm deleting that in this top cities, all this we were deleting that. And this is going to helping that deleting on this, the class, it is making that the none object, none. But if you go to the dictionary, and if you just compare with the list and dictionary, so dictionary is having that clear function. You don't have the slicing concepts, right? Here, you have the clear function to clear that all the keys and the values. Now you see this, it has been written that empty dictionary. So if you like to make that empty of the dictionary, yes, then you can use the clear function, clearing that all the keys and values. But delete keyword, if you use it, so it is just making the none of that object. None. I got the difference of this. But can I make it like a pop like this and using that and clearing that all or deleting that? So pop is you can apply that on the single element, but you cannot apply that the multiple elements. But del keyword, yes, in the list, if you observe that, I'm going to use it for the lists and as well as I'm going to use it for the dictionary. Yes, to clean up that all the items in the list, or I can make it none of that object also. That is the purpose of the del keyword. Del is the keyword from the Python. You can apply not only for the list and dictionaries, you can apply that on the any object. But pop is especially the function which has been given in that class, that is dictionary class or the list class, to delete that particular item. Is it clear now the difference between the del keyword and pop keyword? Is it clear about that clear? I mean, about that clear functional. I mean, clear function also. How do we clean up that keys and values from the dictionary? But how do we clear that the list? List you can use it the slice with the del keyword. But dictionary is inbuilt function which is available, that is clear function. Are you clear these points? They're all like operations we are talking that. Okay, so let me go for this creating some more the examples and we'll work with that. Dictionary. So let me take it one more file. Examples on the dictionary. Okay, so yesterday we were talking this one scenario with user information. So for the tuple, how do we use it? The same thing, like let me define that. So we have this pupil and with their weight. So how do you store it in the dictionary? So we can use it name as a key, colon, and weight of that person, right? Suppose we have this like the user A. So what is his weight is something like, okay, 75, let me define it. Then, comma, so user B, colon, and you can assign this the weight, okay, the 60, comma, like this, yes, we can add it. But use it, the colon, and then assigning that weight of the person, something 45. So now if you try to print this, now let me ask this. If I try to run it, yes, we are getting that user A, user B. Okay, so I have just, you see there's one more, yeah, good. User A is already defined, user B 2 times it has been defined. But it is not throwing any error. Same key, I have used it 2 times. It is not thrown out any error. What was it as happened? So first it is trying to store it in the memory, but again it is find that in the same dictionary, the same key with a different value. Now this value is stored into the memory, right? It is overridden or not? 60 value has been overridden. That means the last key, if the same key is repeated, last key, whatever we have, that value is going to store it in the memory. Anyway, this is one more good point. Actually, it should be C. Okay, so now, so what is the length of this dictionary? Give me the answers quickly. Now this is evaluation. What do you understand about dictionary? Now, what is the length of this dictionary? Quickly, I see those 2 responses. Good. 3, 4. Just to type that answer. So what is the length? Be active. Why it is 2? I see that someone is saying this 2, but why it is 2? Yeah, 3. Okay, yes. Now the length of this dictionary is 3. Okay, good. Okay, no problem. Now I need to get that the weight of the user B. How to get it this? Now give me the answer. I need to get that weight of the user B. weight of the user B. How do we get it that? Give me that answer. Yes. Can use this dictionary. So here make sure about you need to use the square brackets whenever you are going to read the values. Yes, which user? User B. That key. Now if I try to run this, what is the value we are expecting? 60. Good. Now this is to get the value, but this value can I assign this to that any variable? Yeah, the weight of which user? User B. Can I assign this the value? So this function is going to return this, right? This is going to return the value. Just use. Yeah, now this, I mean, that like from using this key, whatever the value we are getting that value we are going to assign to this variable, and we can use it that variable, right? Yes or no? Yeah, now if I try to print the weight of user B, yes, what is the value we are going to get it? Yes, that is 60 we got it. The same value, but here we have taken the variable name. Like that, if it is going to return the list you can assign to that one variable and you can operate that list of all items on that, I mean using that the variable. Now user C weight has been increased to that 55. So how do you change that, the dictionary? Now user C weight has been increased to the 55. We need to update it. How do we update that? Can you give me that answer? How do you update that, the particular element in the dictionary? Come on, quickly. You can use it, the dictionary. So which key do you want to update it? User C. And what is the value now? 55. Now if I try to print the dictionary, what is the value we are going to have it? Now user C value has been updated with the 55. This is assignment. And this is getting the value, and you can use it as to the variables. You can assign to the variables, and that variable you can use it within the print operation or like in a different operations point of view. The next point is, yes, as we are trying to understand it, how you can clear all the elements. Yes, how do you clear that, all the keys and values from the dictionary? What is the function that we can use it? Type that function. How to clear the elements from the dictionary? Yeah, how do you clear that elements from the list? From the list. Pop is going to helping one by one, right? Only one element. You can delete is in the pop one element, but you can use it, delete with the slicing. Yes, delete keyword, you can use it, and with the slicing. Okay, suppose now let me store it some more details here. So we'll try to get it working with that list as well as within the dictionary. So I'll use this. Yeah, let me comment all these things for whatever reference I'm going to give this. Suppose user info we have. Ancestral, which are talking about it. So let me define this dictionary. So name of that user, how do we use it? Now that's a dictionary to store that user information. Yesterday we were using just defining the name and all those, but now you can use the key, right? So user, the name, what is the name of that user? Yes, like something, yeah, some XYZ name. Now that is the advantage of this with the dictionary. So date of birth. Yes, you can use it, date of birth of that user, and you can store it like this. And suppose now, sorry, comma. Now we have this. Are you getting the points about it? How do you use the dictionary? Yesterday we were using tuple for this activity, but you need to use the index numbers for that. But now user information, now we are storing that name, date of birth, and now I can use it education details. But education details, as we are talking that is a list, right? So within the list, I can store it like about his 10th, inter, and then degree. Are you getting the points now? Next, what we are trying to understand? We are using something, one more element that is about weight of that user, something which we are using that. Yeah, so his address details. Now, if I need that address, yes, I can use this key and I can get that address details, right? If it is a tuple or a list, I'm going to use it. So to get it the address details, I need to check it, okay, in which index number I have stored. But if I use the dictionary to manage like this, the data, then if I need that education details, okay, I will use this key. If I need that address details, yes, I will use this key. So street 1. So some values and city and postal code. So like this, we can store list of all that key related elements, right? Now, are you getting this, the importance of this, the dictionary? If I try to store it, yes, I'm going to get it all that. Now, how do I get it that education details? And I need to get I need to print degree of that user. How do I get it that? I need to print this degree. How do you get it this? The degree of that user. Give me that answer. I don't see this anyone responding that. Just give me the answer. No. So user degree. So user info from this. Yes, we can get it. The key. What is the key? Edu. It is going to give the list. But from this list, what do we need to get it? The degree value. So degree in which index number? That is 2 index number. Getting the point of this. Now if I try to print user degree. Yes, let's see this now. Yes, we got it, the degree. And I need to get it like his pin code, the user's pin code. How to get it this? User's pin code. How do I get it this? So from the user info dictionary, you can apply that. So what is the key which we can use it here? From the address. Yes, it is going to give that address list. And from this list, I need that the postal code, which you can use it to. Yeah, so now if I try to print the user pin code, yes, that is a postal code, whatever it is defined. Yes, we are getting the postal code of that user. Now, okay, this is about reading. Now let's talk it about. Now suppose I need to assign the postal code to the something 5 lakhs. How do I assign this value? Now this postal code, whatever the string we have, we need to change this to 5 lakh. How do we assign this? How do I assign that, or how do we update that, the dictionary? Yeah, so take the dictionary user info, and which key do you want to update it? Address. But within this address, so now address is going to get into the list, but within the list, second index number, I would like to assign that 5 lakh. Now if I try to print this dictionary, that is user info, I see the city has been assigned that the 5 lakh. Are you getting the points about it? How do you work with this multiple data types within the dictionary? All these data manipulation, so very, very important. Type this if you are good with this. So type the CLR in the chat window, everyone. So this is one data type. This is another data type. And this is another data type. Can I use the tuple also? So now we are working with that list. Can I use the tuple also? Suppose this education details, once it has been completed, there is no meaning of the changes, right? So I can store address details, maybe it is going to changing that at any time. So that's why I'm going to use the list here. But education details, we are going to define this in the format of that tuple. Yeah, now you see this education details, it has been stored with the tuple. You cannot change it to these values, right? So once 10th intermediate and a degree has been defined, you cannot change or you cannot delete these things. Yeah, tuple is immutable. But address details, yes, whenever that address has been changed, yes, we need to change the address. Address details in the list. Now here education details in the tuple. And these are all like individual details. Yeah, name and DOB, you can define this in one tuple and you can define it. That is also fine. Yes. But this is also fine. Anyway, this is the single attribute, right? Single attribute. So name based, date of birth based, education details, address details. Are you clear that working with that all the three data types? Collection data types, we are talking that. All these collection data types. Tuple, list, dictionary. Is it clear finally? Yeah, next Monday onwards, we are going to work with the iterations, like a for loop and while loop. During the time also, we are going to work with that all these data types. We'll come back to that. But try to get, yes, like mutable object, main difference is mutable, immutable, index-based, key-based. Index-based getting the values or the key-based getting the values. That is the main differences, the overall, the collection data types, if we try to understand it. But operations are the functions on the base of the data type. We have that internal functions like list. If you go to that, append we have, pop we have. Those are all two main, and we are trying to understand that slicing concepts, slicing and indexing concepts. And tuple, if you go to that, tuple is, yes, also as like a list, which is index based, but tuple you cannot do append operation or pop operation. Only you can do count operation. Count we can do in list also. But dictionary, quite opposite to the list and tuple. That is a key based values we can store it. So like this, key based values we can store it. Easy to retrieve it. But if it is a list, index you need to count it. Index based you need to get it. But here key based. Yes, data analysis, which you are going to helping that these are all formats. The key, but key should be defined either string you can use it or integer you can use it. But values, yes, you can use it strings or any type of data type. That is tuple, you can use it on the base of the data which you're going to store it. Yes, you can use it the tuple or you can use it that list. And you can manipulate operations on that internal list objects also. This is double array index, we will call it. This is the key based we are retrieving, and here we are retrieving with the key based, sorry, index based retrieving. Key and with the index based combinations. This is the key, and in this key, the particular index based working with operations. But internally, each the collection data type is having its own functions. Like here, one of the important function, remember that clear, to clear that the keys and the values, and you can use the pop or delete, that's fine. But update or assignment directly, you can use it like this. You don't need to use it the functions. But in the list, you can use it. Append is the function to add the elements. Or you can use it assignment also. Like this assignment also you can do in the list. But assignment, whenever you are doing, the particular key index should be available. That index must be available in the list. Otherwise, it is not going to help in that. So first add the element, then you can update that. But here in the dictionary, directly you can define the key and value. So like this, you can define key and not this one. So key and value you can define directly. So if the key is already available, it is going to update it. If the key is not available, it is going to add last element. with this key and value. Yeah, so these are all the main differences. If you are, so they ask you in interviews all these questions only, nothing. And string also. String is mutable or immutable? String is mutable or immutable?
Immutable, sir.
Yeah, so string and tuple are the immutables overall, and a list and a dictionary are mutables. But a list and tuple are index based, and a dictionary is key based. Yeah, you can use it 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional. Yeah, suppose within this list, I can store it one more list. Where is this? Yeah, suppose this, like here, I can keep that one more list here. Then if I would like to get it, I need to use the 3-array index number. 4 index numbers, but recommended design patterns point of view, the best recommended is maximum use it 2-dimensional. That is the best performance you will get it. But you can define 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional, 5-dimensional. Yes, a list within the list, another list, another list. Yes, you can store it and you can retrieve it. But that is not the good design. Maximum see this most of the daily operations with a double array index. Good. Yeah. So any queries, questions, please let me know before going to wind up today, and we'll meet on Monday, and we'll start about that for loops and if conditions, how do we define it? Then we'll work with some examples. So in the for loop and while loops, how do we use it, these dictionaries or lists to iterate it? Yes, any queries, questions, please? Are you good with the data types? Yeah, if you are good with these data types, you can play the very key role in whenever you are defining the statements with the data, especially data modeling, machine learning, and not only the machine learning. If you go to that's like any framework that could be web development related or infrastructure related or machine learning related or data science related. But we have some different frameworks. So we need to use those frameworks and you need to work with that. That's the modules. Yeah, good. So that's all from my side. So any queries, questions, please let me know. I'll share it these two, which you can practice. So try to practice or try to complete all these the Python scripts by this weekend if you didn't do that. Yeah, thank you all. So I'm going to log off for today. Thank you.